As the cold weather persists, we have been dealing with piles of snow and piles of trash being spotted all over the city. Here is a video of a trash pile that we spotted on the Upper East Side, and there are sites like this all over the place. Sanitation workers working 12-hour shifts as they manage both trash collection and the ongoing snow removal. During an event yesterday, Mayor Mamdani praised the work that they're doing.
I know that they are working with everything that they have to come up to speed. And that'll continue to be a focus for us, because what we want is a city where New Yorkers can continue to return back to their lives as they were. We know that this cold is not going to help us. We know that this is going to continue for the next few days.
And Acting Sanitation Commissioner Javier Lojan joins me now for an update. Commissioner, good to see you here on News All Day. Thanks for coming on. So again, trash pickup is behind. We see these huge piles of garbage like the video that we just played. And it's no news to you. New Yorkers have a lot to say about this, the look, the smell. You get the point. So when will we expect these to be cleared?
Well, thank you for having me, Shannon. Appreciate it. So as you mentioned, we're trying to balance, we still have ongoing snow operations, which is still important. We've tried to clear out some areas, and then you're seeing piles now out there because we cleared out the areas. We're hauling those away to our snow melters. We've actually activated another snow melter site, so we're up to 12. And that's because all the snow we're removing from the street. So that's an ongoing effort that we make sure that we're going to continue on, because we understand people need the real estate. And as far as the collections go, so we last week, the day after the storm, we prioritized snow, obviously, and then we prioritized refuse and compost collections during the week. We had to sacrifice, not picking up the recyclables. So that's the paper, metal, glass, plastics. And this week is now where we're going after old material streams. So the refuse, the compost, and then the metal, glass, plastics, and paper. And now that material is double. So we recognize it's going to be more than what everybody's used to. We're about, a day behind. So the one thing I just want to make everybody aware is that reason why I say we're a day behind is because our workforce has still been split on 12-hour shifts due to the storm. So we were split 6 a.m. and then the other half of the workforce comes in at 6 p.m. So people are typically used to having all their waste picked up on the midnight shift or the 6 a.m. shift. And then by the time they even get up to go to work, most of it's gone. Now it's half of the workforce is split. I have to have that some level of allocation of work for them to do on that part of the shift, right? So
Sure.
They might be seeing 6, 8 p.m. even going into the overnight, and that's one thing I know it's frustrating for New Yorkers, but that's just we have to kind of split that way to continue the ongoing efforts and have everybody available for 12-hour shifts until we continue this, get everything done.
Do you have an estimate if you think when things will be back to normal?
So I'm hoping that as every day goes on, so today we're into the Tuesday frequency. So if you normally get picked up on a Tuesday, your refuse, your compost, and then your recyclables, we're going into that today. That's going to go into tomorrow. That's going to spread into tomorrow morning. And then we'll do the same thing tomorrow. We'll be into some Wednesday frequency, and then that'll continue on. So I think once we get into the Thursday and Friday frequency, would be caught up, because Saturday we serviced over the weekend. Mm-hmm. So I would imagine towards the end of the week is when you'll start to see some normalcy. And then these mild temperatures, what we started doing also is just knocking down some of the smaller piles. And then, in hopes that the warmer temps, if you want to call them, or milder temps,
right,
will help melt some of that. Because 35 degrees, 36 degrees is not warming. But, with the kind of temperatures we've had, it's like kind of balmy, I guess.
No, I was going to say, it feels balmy out there. Let's talk more about the snowbounds. Again, we just saw some of that video. Certain sidewalks and crosswalks still unclear, right? So what's the status? Can you tell us a little bit more about the cleanup with that situation, as it's a little tricky between, different property owners as well?
Yeah. So I think there's a few things also for people to recognize is that the parking lane and sometimes the part of the sidewalk is covered. We're clearing out the corners, the bus stops. I know a lot of people are frustrated. We get a lot of complaints about the parking lanes snowed in. We're not able to get in there, and that's why we suspended alternate side parking, because we're hoping that now, again, going back to the milder temps, they can dig themselves out. And then these warmer temps will aid, kind of remove some of that. But as far as the corners go and the bus stops, we're continuing to go out there. widen everything to make sure it's accessible for everybody. We're still, melting. We've melted almost 80,000 tons of snow, which is enormous when you think about it. And we're going to continue that as, the week goes on.
Is there anything that could be done if a corner is owned by a property owner? Because it is in, the public's way, even if it's technically not owned by the city. So is there anything that the city can do to kind of speed that up or make people take action? Because there are a lot of concerns about the elderly and the disabled, particularly getting around. It's still treacherous in some spots.
Right. Yeah. And that's one of the things we're looking at the enforcement end is that we're looking at some of these areas where we're seeing people haven't cleared their sidewalks, and we're going out and we're issuing violations. So the violations begin at $100 for the first offense, and then it escalates after that. But so we're looking at all those areas. I mean, in some cases, we are taking action, matters into our own hands if we're seeing it's just so dangerous. But we're going out there issuing violations, and we hope that property owners are doing their part and trying to, I know it's a little icy, so it might be hard to shovel, but putting some kind of ice melt, salt, or some kind of traction aid like a sand, something just to, keep people safe when they have to walk by their property.
All right, we'll leave it there. Acting Sanitation Commissioner Javier Lojan, thanks for coming on News All Day.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. For more stories in your communities, click the subscribe button right here. You can also download our app or watch us on TV for the latest news and weather updates every 10 minutes and more. We'll see you then.